arithmetic series. Yesterday we practiced using sigma. That's where we, in the calculator, what buttons do we push? Math 0. And we use sigma. And sigma gives us the what? The sum. And so now we're going to be actually coming up with the formula that goes there on the right side of sigma. And that can be done using the formulas we already know. So just as a reminder, the formula is AN equals D N minus 1 plus A1.
And why are we always doing N minus 1? What does that mean?
That's part of the formula.
And all of it?
Yep, this is the formula we've been using all unit. Alright, so when we're using sigma, what goes at the bottom? N equals 1, which means that's the first term that I'm going to start adding. I'm going to start with my first term. Okay. And then at the top, we put however many terms it is that we are adding together. So it might be a 10, it might be a 12, it might be a 100. It depends on the question. And then to the right, we're going to put this explicit formula. We're going to fill in this formula right here. The big thing that you need to remember is that when we write the formula to the right, we leave n. So in the formula, you're actually going to leave your variable of n. And I'll show you that when we get down to number 1. So the directions say to write the following sequences in sigma form and evaluate for the indicated number of terms. What that means is, here's my sequence, and I'm going to put it in sigma form. I'm going to find the sum of the first 8 terms. So what I'm finding is S8. So go ahead and draw in your sigma. What goes at the bottom? N equals 1. What goes to the top? 8. And then over here to the side, I'm going to write my formula. So it's coming from this formula up here. What's my common difference? 3. And then in parentheses, I'm not going to put the 8 in the formula. I've already put the 8 on sigma. We don't double up the n. So I leave it as n minus 1 plus A1, which is 5. Good. And we just type that in. So math 0 gives us sigma. Yep. You just had to come up put the formula in. So x equals 1. Now, something that's important. There will be parentheses that show up when you do math 0. You cannot go outside of those parentheses. So this is what it should look like when it's typed in. You will have to add some extra parentheses around your n minus 1 or your x minus 1.
Why do you need one after the plus 5?
Well, because when you hit math 0, it automatically pops up some parentheses.
Oh,
so
yeah,
those are already there. Yep. And when you hit enter, you get 124.
That ain't bad.
Mm-mm. So number 2, here's my sequence. I'm finding the sum of the first 13 terms. So I'm finding S13. Start with sigma. What goes on the bottom? N equals 1. What goes at the top? 13. And then we fill in our arithmetic formula. My common difference is 5. Then we leave n minus 1 plus 10. Math 0. So when I get over here inside the parentheses, I'm going to type 5 and then new parentheses, x minus 1, close them, and then do plus 10. Those outside parentheses have to stay there. So the parentheses that show up when you first hit math 0, you cannot type outside of them. It'll mess it up. You get 520. Any questions? All right, number 3. I'm finding S20. We've got sigma from n equals 1 to 20. What's my common difference? Negative 2. And then n minus 1 plus 1. We get negative 360. Any questions so far?
Is Sunday this Friday or next Friday?
Next Friday.
Next Friday? Okay.
All right, number 4. I'm finding S34, the sum of 4 terms. So sigma n equals 1 on the bottom. What goes on the top? 34. What's my common difference? Negative 2. N minus 1. So you can put plus negative 6, or what I prefer is just minus 6. Because plus negative 6 is the same thing as minus 6. So math 0. Negative 1,326. Very good. And now there was another formula that normally we do, and that formula really isn't used very often at all. There might be 1 or 2 questions where you would have to use that specific formula, and it's a little bit more difficult, and so I'm just going to avoid those questions. So you can cross that out if you want. There's 6 more questions. There's these 2 on the front and there's 4 on the back, and you're going to work through those on your own. Now these are set up a little bit different. They already show them in series form. They already show those like 2 plus 4 plus 6, which is fine. That's another way it might be wrote out, and it tells you S19. You're finding the sum of the first 19. But you do it the same way. So work on those, and I'm going to work on them, and then I'll come around and check. Alright, so numbers 5 and 6, 380 and negative 4050.
This is weird.
Any questions on those?
Because on number 6, I had the same exact thing written down, same thing happened with my calculator, and it's wrong.
Did you put a negative 13?
Can you not enter negative 13 on a calculator?
You can. That's what you're supposed to do. And then this over here should say, it should either say plus negative 6 or it should say minus 6. If you just put negative 6 at the end, it would have messed it up because it would have multiplied by negative 6.
I need to go subtract by 6?
Yeah. Whoop. The next number 5, you should have got 1,221, and then number 6, 649. Does anybody need help or clarification on those?
Oh, yeah, I didn't even get to those.
And then numbers 7 and 8, 301, negative 301, and 765.
These ones are all easy because they're not really good.